All right, how are we doing tonight? Today, our topic is going to be how to build or grow an audience of buyers. Now, I want to do this by first drilling down into your buyer persona to create targeted content. But then we're also going to look at how do you build trust with clients, because that's what really gets you to grow your audience. Now, the first thing you need to do is develop your buyer persona. You can't drill down into your buyer persona until you have one in the first place. So while standard buyer persona generation strategies, they won't uncover all possible audiences. Those recruiters will have missed the case in point, but they're still a helpful starting point. And next, you want to build content for your established buyer persona. And once you have your general buyer persona established, start building content to support their needs. Now, this might include content that addresses their pain points, supports different strategies in their buyer journey, maybe it answers questions that they have. Now, at this point, don't worry about hitting all the possible audiences or personas. Your goal for now is just to start gathering information about who you're trying to reach with that content. Next, look for indicators that your buyer's persona needs aren't being met. As you publish content, you can generate a significant volume of engagement and conversion data. And if you're thoughtful about this information, you'll be able to pick up on signs that you aren't meeting all the needs of possible audiences with your content, including maybe regularly getting the same questions posed to customer service, high churn or low engagement with content. It's measured by the bounce rate and the average time on a page, onboarding or survey results that aren't really in alignment with your personas of your buyers, or evidence that new and sometimes unexpected types of customers are finding value in your product or service. Now, as an example, say the content you've created to support sales development reps for lead prospecting was generating high bounce rates. Or say it wasn't driving the same conversion rates as the content targeting marketers using the tool for influencer marketing campaigns. Both of these could be signs that you could have maybe you need to refine your buyer persona a bit. Now, if you aren't sure how to find or react to these indicators, there's an easier way. Just talk to people, talk to your customers, and survey them about what they're looking for and how they're using your product or service. Doing this can help you find a new audience, and this way you won't have to look other places. And next, you want to refine your buyer persona. All the data that we just gathered, but we just talked about, add it to your understanding of your buyer's persona, creating maybe sub-personas as needed. And two things could happen here. One is the need for a new buyer persona, because maybe it's not really accurate and it's not fitting who you're targeting. If your data and research suggests that the new audience you haven't addressed, maybe you want to ask yourself a few key questions before investing in creating a whole new one. Now, how large is the potential new audience? Which of their problems does my solution solve? And how closely does my solution match their needs? If you're looking at a small audience relative to the size of your primary persona, or if your solution will really only band-aid their needs until a better option comes along, then maybe all that trouble is just not worth it. But if you see a potentially large audience with a strong use case for your product, you may find it worthwhile to incorporate them into your content strategy. Next, the need to improve an existing persona. Maybe the data you gather for your content creation and promotion helps you identify misconceptions that you've made about your audience. For example, maybe it proves that you're wrong about who they are or the pain points they're experiencing or how significant these pain points are, or maybe how they're using your solution. So, how can we then create hyper-targeted content for your new persona? Once again, looking at the information we just put together, continually revisit your buyer personas. Watch your engagement, your conversion data, and determine whether or not you've made the right corrections. The more you use the process and dial your content strategy into the needs of your actual customers, the greater the impact is going to be on your business's success. So now let's turn to strategies for making customers really trust your brand. Now, when your prospects and customers trust you, they're much more likely to buy from you. When you have their trust, You can also command a higher price and boost the lifetime of value for each customer. But boosting trust doesn't happen in a vacuum. You have to remain consistent in your messaging, understand your buyer personas, deliver on your promises over time, and only then will you become the go-to provider for your niche. Now, there's tremendous upside to building trust in your brand, but it takes time and specific strategies. So I want to share a couple of those strategies with you. First is be accessible. Be available to your customers and allow them to interact with you. Customers often have questions, and if there's nowhere for them to get their answers, and you don't respond in a timely manner, then you could begin to lose your credibility. You should have several strategies in place to maintain regular interaction with prospects and customers. And it's good to have customer support staff answer questions that come in. You can even have paid memberships that include a forum where like-minded clients regularly interact, where business owners can learn how to grow their businesses online. There are some very practical ways you can make yourself available to your customers. Maybe having a point of contact for all inquiries, starting an online community, maybe an organized event to bring awareness to the brand. You can try any of these things, but also consider setting up a proper customer support infrastructure. Make sure you have a help desk. You can also attend conferences and events, and these ways you can answer questions in person, which is a great way to increase your likability and accessibility and provide support to your customers. Next, shouldn't even have to say this, but have a reliable product. People tend to buy on emotion, not logic. Now, the challenge your business faces is that when the product arrives on the customer's doorstep, those customers may be impressed with the quality of the product to justify their purchase. Talking a good game and turning around and then selling a low-quality product is sure to draw negative reviews, and that's going to lead to mistrust, decreased credibility, and all kinds of bad things. Now, one simple way to ensure your product's quality is to put it through rigorous testing first. You can also put together focus groups and ask your target audience what their needs are, what kinds of product would solve their challenges, things of that nature. What goes hand in hand with that is be honest. Being transparent means recognizing and being open about both your strengths and your weaknesses. If your product isn't right for one of your leads, you should be secure enough to guide that lead in the right direction, even if that act means boosting your competitor's bottom line. Now, especially when you're getting started, talk openly and honestly about your journey, especially in the money-making niche. This is going to help drive traffic to your website. Honesty shows that you care about your customer and their needs, and your willingness to help them gets the results that they're looking to achieve. You also need to bring value to your clients. Now, ask yourself, do you put your customers first or do you put revenue first? And which is more important? Now, people know when they're just a dollar sign to you, and while they may still buy from you or believe your product solves their challenge, it doesn't really build long-term trust or encourage repeat sales. I mean, on lower price range products, it's easier to get away with, but as you go up the price range, you really need to bring value. Of course, maintain consistency. That ensures that your prospects and your customers know what to expect. And you can set both internal and external goals to maintain the quality of service. Ford is a great example of consistency, and we'll look a little more closely at them later on in the section. A consistent brand helps increase the overall value of your company by reinforcing your position in the marketplace, attracting better quality customers, higher retention rates, and raising the perceived value of your products or services. Consistency can also help your employees understand what their role is within the organization. The building blocks of a consistent brand should include your message. Your brand message should be an extension of your actions and behavior. If it isn't true to who you are or you can't deliver on it, then you're being inconsistent. Your brand's overall tone also factors into your message. In other words, how you position yourself in the market. Do you want to be perceived as dependable, aggressive, helpful, or some other characteristic? But make sure you stay focused on the image that you're developing. Make sure your design is consistent across your logo, your website, your social networks, your printed materials. This is also going to help build trust with customers. Your delivery is also going to help communicate with your target audience. Through what channels? How often? Knowing your prospects makes it easier to answer these questions and deliver the expected brand experience. Trust is really a byproduct of a commitment to quality and excellence. If you can deliver the right results to the right people over a long period of time, they're going to come to believe and trust in your product and your service offerings. And once you've carved out your identity in the marketplace, be vigilant about your communication. Back up who you say you are with tangible actions. Now, most people buy things emotionally. So, how can we focus on emotional marketing? Emotional marketing tells a story that connects with an audience in a human or personal way. With consumers increasingly making buying decisions driven by feelings rather than logic, emotional marketing creates meaningful relationships that result in brand fans, replacing the loyalty marketing approach of the past. Now, the proliferation of new media channels, platforms, and devices means that consumers have greater access to brand stories, and marketers have more ways to convey their brand identity and vision. Done right, emotional marketing helps marketers differentiate and compete in this challenging environment. It helps convey a brand's values, their interests, their passions. And while emotional marketing is a strategy, it has to feel authentic and honest in order to work. Marketers need to truly understand both the audience and the brand's identity to choose the right approach. Now, I want to give you a couple of approaches to emotional marketing that can turn your casual consumers into brand fans. Inspirational, aspirational, love, milestones, and local. First is inspirational. What motivates or encourages your target clients? When people are inspired, they often think or act differently. They may feel a sense of pride when someone they relate to accomplishes an unexpected feat or overcomes an obstacle, or they may be swayed by seeing a good deed in action. The right human interest story or spokesperson who embodies the brand will make an inspirational approach work for you. Now, effectively associating your brand with a role model that people can believe in may lead people to believe in your product as well. Gatorade and Nike have mastered the inspirational approach, using athletes like Serena Williams or Michael Jordan as brand ambassadors for them. And they inspire audiences, not simply with their looks or their fame, but with their accomplishments, their talents, and their perseverance. Now, building an emotional connection with your customers can be magical and create a halo effect for your brand. Dawn dish soap, for example, was hailed as a wildlife rescue hero for cleaning up hundreds of birds after the Gulf Coast spill in 2010 in Alaska. Consumers viewed the brand with pride for being part of an overall humanitarian response to an ecological disaster. Honda's Power of Dreams campaign celebrates people who chase their dreams with reckless abandon, and the amazing thing that happened when their dreams come true. They feature celebrities such as Amy Adams and Steve Carell. And the campaign actually conveys an even richer brand story by paying tribute to Honda's founder, Sakuro Honda, in the pursuit of his dreams, and that's what's made Honda a success. Next is aspirational. And aspirational campaigns create a brand presence that taps into the audience's dreams, their desire to reach a lofty goal, or maybe enjoy a lifestyle or experience that they long for. They may aspire to be financially secure, or maybe to send a child to college, or hit the open road in a status vehicle. Marketers considering an aspirational approach, they need to understand the need, the hope, the desire that their brand fills for their target customer, and how their brand reflects the people's self-image and identity. They have to build up a story that brings the dream to life. Now, GE hopes young women will aspire to enter the STEM fields by honoring female scientists with its Balance and Equation campaign. That includes the ad, "What if Millie Dresselhaus, female scientist, was treated like a celebrity?" Now, in the luxury category, Hermes conveys the image that its products are for those who are elegant, worldly, and appreciate fine craftsmanship. Even if you've never traveled the world, owning an Hermes product, it shows that you appreciate worldliness and in ways that others may not. Tesla, for example, if you drive a Tesla, it's because you believe the company's aspirational mission to accelerate the world's transition to a sustainable energy. Next, expressing love. A marketing strategy focusing on appealing to consumers' raw and most personal emotions can change a nameless, faceless, perhaps seemingly soulless business into a brand that audiences can relate to and care about. They can even work for businesses that aren't inherently compelling in order to develop a product or service that has little to differentiate itself from the competition. It also can be impactful for businesses that specialize in products or services for special occasions. Now, the most effective way to humanize a company is by demonstrating that the brand makes someone's life better, easier, or brings them joy. Brands such as Pandora's Jewelry and FTD always show someone you care for on important occasions. ATD's Always There campaign promises to protect your home and help your family feel safe. Lysol's new Protect Like a Mother campaign likens mothers to wild animals who instinctively protect their young from anything, even germs. Another thing to think about is a milestone connection. Now, milestones can be an opportunity to strengthen your brand's relationship with your customers. Big Mac turns 50 this year. Star Wars debuted 40 years ago, or the jelly giant J.M. Smuckers is 120 years old, and these companies are proudly celebrating their anniversaries. Additionally, a brand can focus on life milestones that are important for its audience to develop a strategy that resonates with them. Oscar Mayer's recent back-to-school campaign shows real moms talking about the bittersweet moment of watching their kids go to school for the first time. And in a twist, having the kids make lunch for the parents to ease the transition. Even just creating a story about your brand's presence in the lives of those experiencing a milestone can be very effective. New York Life features a child's first steps and assures you that they'll be there for all of life's ups and downs. And Huggies goes into the delivery room and its Baby's First Hug campaign to remind new moms that hugs strengthens babies' immune systems. And the fifth point I want to talk about is the local angle. Now, a brand can gain fans by connecting to people's pride and passion for where they live. Brands with a trendy buy local strategy tailor their stories and platforms to the cities in which they do business. National auto brands, retailers, banks, they tie into their local markets campaigns through famous attractions, local schools, colleges, and hometown sporting events. Brands like Bank of America and Target play active roles in local programs and partnerships that make their communities better places to live and work. Cliff Bar sponsors numerous running and cultural events in cities throughout the US and is a highly visible participant in events like the mid-marathon dance parties. So location-specific marketing is also a particularly valuable approach for younger, smaller businesses or franchise that may have small budgets, but they can trade on the local presence and connections of the community. Now, make sure to be real in real time. Well, theoretically, any of these emotional marketing approaches can apply to all your businesses. One thing remains the same. You have to be consistent in your storytelling across all platforms to bring it to life. Ensuring that your story and delivery evoke the same tone and message across multiple platforms builds a credible, meaningful, and recognizable brand that will resonate with your customers. While creating this type of marketing strategy may seem like an insurmountable and cost-prohibitive task, small businesses shouldn't be discouraged. You don't have to have a giant budget to create brand fans. You just need to understand your audience and tell a believable story. Be prepared to work harder and use platforms for your audience to give the most visibility and get the most bang for your buck. Now, regardless of what strategy you choose, remember, the key to creating a successful emotional marketing campaign is authenticity. If you truly understand the promise your brand is making to its audience and you speak from the heart, your brand will connect to a whole new level and transform customers into friends. So, how can we build credibility, trust, and character to help grow our business? Well, in today's marketplace, Brands and products come and go pretty quick. An estimated 250,000 products are launched every year. And these products have an average of 85 to 95% failure rate. Now, that's a pretty sad statistic, but it's hardly surprising given our desire for new, better, and the rapid pace at which business operates today. Well, new brands come and go. A few exceptions stand out, like Levi's, Ford Motors, Apple. These are well-known and enduring names that have survived over a number of decades. Now, what's the secret to these brands' staying power? Why do some stick around while others fizzle or go bust? Well, transparency is more important to the corporate reputation than ever before. Wary of scams, ripoffs, and shady marketing tactics, customers are starting to see the world more in terms of real and fake. Now, more often than not, they're basing their purchasing decisions on how genuine they perceive the offer to be. Many companies don't practice authenticity. Instead, they try to build their companies around what they think people want to hear. But listening to customers and simply parroting back what they say isn't going to build customer loyalty. It's not about trapping customers with incredible promises. Instead, it's about boldly proclaiming what you believe and then stepping back to see who's drawn to that message. Authentic brands are able to secure a loyal following, a tribe, if you will. Satisfied customers will share their experience with friends and family. And if the company stays true to its message and continues to provide products that are in line with the customer's expectations, it'll be on the way toward developing a brand that's going to be able to stand the test of time. Now, if you're thinking of launching a startup or developing a brand, here's a couple of things to think about to make sure that you're credible and help you lay a solid foundation to build lasting success. You want to define your values and mission. First off, decide what your authenticity lies in. You need to choose which values you're ready to commit to unwaveringly. And then it's your commitment to supporting a specific cause. Is it dedication to building products that'll change people's lives? Whatever it is, it's important to own it. So choose something you're passionate about. Don't half-heartedly commit to a set of values that you're not fully ready to embrace. That's the best way to kill a brand. Your customers will see through the ruse, and it's only going to damage your reputation in the long run. Get to know your personality and the personality of your brand. Is your personality and your personality's brand aligned? You're the face of your company, and it's important to make sure your branding is compatible with who you are. Make sure you set boundaries. Be aware of your boundaries and know the difference between stretching yourself for growth and allowing others to push you past your comfort zone. Draw a line in the sand, and as important issues arise, take a stand. Decide which things you'll be unwavering on. Determine how and where you want to showcase your authenticity. Look for opportunities to showcase authenticity, whether it's online or social media, your blog, or behind the scenes interactions with others. Get to know your audience and allow them to get to know you as well. Release your authenticity. How far should you go to demonstrate your authenticity? Determine where and how to demonstrate your values and how far you want to go. Then make a plan for your release. As always, be consistent. Keep your messages consistent. The messages that you're sending out through marketing, promotions, and social media, they should be in line with the in-person experience that you provide to customers. And finally, prepare for backlash. When you gain a certain level of publicity, you're going to have haters, plain and simple. Don't let this discourage you or distract you from your values or mission. Stay true to your beliefs, and you'll gain respect from those around you. Your loyal customer base, they'll have your back. In the end, embracing your startup's authentic self is about being true to your values and following through on your promises to your customers. Embracing authenticity isn't for everyone, but those who choose to use this as a basis for establishing a brand or a brand who can find that building a company on is a solid foundation. It's going to provide tremendous lasting stability, no matter what changes may be ahead. Are your core values linked with your branding or your business strategy? How do you demonstrate authenticity in your branding? Well, let's take a look at some of the big, well-known companies that do it really well, and let's see what lessons we can take away from this. And no better way to dissect the to-dos of branding than to dig deep into companies that everybody knows and trusts. What kind of companies are these? I mean, these are names that you probably know every single one of them. And to be successful, you need to place more of an emphasis on brand building than emotional relationships with customers because it's powerful and it works. And when you do it, you'll have a much stronger affinity and stronger business results, stronger growth, stronger all around. So, what are the tactics used by the big ones that really work? Let's take a look and find out. Now, it doesn't get any bigger than Amazon. They're the online retailer of, well, pretty much everything. It's no surprise that their exceptional product accessibility, functionality, and customer experience, it all converges to create a strong brand that customers trust. With millions of products, 24/7 access, superior search and browse technology, user reviews, and many other sources of depth and product information, Amazon offers a superior purchase experience. With its low prices and free shipping on orders with over a minimum total, it's seen as offering value, and the one-click ordering and quick shipping options help shoppers save time. Consumers also rely on Amazon to have all the products they're looking for, thanks to partnerships with other companies. Now, with such a vast array of offerings, it could be perceived as impersonal, but Amazon does a great job of fostering relationships with consumers by helping them make decisions through recommendations of items based on past purchases, user reviews, ratings, and suggested complementary purchases. Consumers also have many options for forging a personal bond with the brand, including user profiles, reviews, and ratings, and wish lists for recommending favorite products. Next, let's look at Coca-Cola. They have a deep and healthy respect for their past and all the people who have gone before them. They never forget why they started or where they came from. That means a lot to customers. Ice cold sunshine, the pause that refreshes, life tastes good. Since its inception, the promise of the world's largest beverage maker has been to delight consumers. Everything they do is inspired by the idea of how do we promote, develop, and create happiness? Coca-Cola pushes the message across all points of customer contact, from Facebook to its custom vending machines, which allow customers to connect to their favorite combinations of flavors. They take the ideas of spontaneity and delight and infuse them into everything. Now, putting aside their 80s branding debacle that was the new Coke, the company backs up its focus on happiness with a consistently strong corporate identity based on their longevity and their heritage. They have a deep and healthy respect for their past and the people who've gone before them. That means a lot to customers. Next, let's talk about another one that you undoubtedly know, FedEx. They want to live up to the promise. With a straightforward passion for the task at hand, FedEx has created a strong corporate identity. And not surprisingly, the company received its strongest ratings in ability, specifically for being able to achieve what it promises and the efficiency of its operations. In addition to providing what's seen as a reliable service, the brand has engendered trust through initiatives such as the We Understand campaign. They've elevated the brand by recognizing that it's not just about logistics and moving packages in boxes. They appreciate that it's people's treasures, their livelihoods, their futures, and the contents of those packages mean a lot to people. To further deliver that message, FedEx engages with consumers through personalized rewards programs and by interacting with social media channels. When you've already nailed attributes like trustworthiness, reliability, things that are essential to the business but don't exactly make you fall in love with the brand, that's when you're thinking that a customer is a person and not just a number becomes absolutely critical. Next company we should look at is Apple. Apple uses its retail outlets to show, not tell consumers its brand philosophy. they want to keep it cool and fun. While other companies have public and press waiting breathless, what other company has the public and press waiting for their new product releases? Who lines up for new product? But the bottom line is whatever new Apple product is, consumers trust that it's going to be smart and sleek, and it's going to somehow improve the way they communicate, work, or spend their leisure time. And what's more, they enjoy the experience of making the purchase. While Apple's always been about creativity and expression, the brand has kicked up the emotional quotient by creating retail stories that foster a sense of collaboration and transparency between customers and its sales staff. They try to hire empathetic people, and they don't measure their sales associates on sales. Apple's approach to its stores, it's probably the best retail endeavor in history. They really want people to come in and be inspired, to build confidence, and really feel better about themselves from the experience they had in the store. Apple uses retail outlets to show, not tell, consumers its brand philosophy. From the large tables, the open spaces, the walls of windows, to its well-trained associates. And they happen to be Apple's biggest brand advocates. They're armed with handheld checkout scanners that enable shoppers to make purchases without ever having to stand in line. Now, of course, not everything about Apple shines. They get some sour bits. As the brand doesn't necessarily do well on the corporate side, or the perception of the company is that it doesn't value customers. They don't give discounts. Some ways they do come across as arrogant. But, Steve Jobs, he just thought about what was right for the brand and the consumer. And that focus is part of the reason they've done such a great job of creating new categories and products that continue to distance themselves from the competitors. Okay, next let's talk about Target. For Target, design is an experience. It's easy to forget that they're a discount store with its sleek and stylish campaigns and collaborations with high-end designers who create limited edition merchandise that sends fashionistas into a frenzy. Target's public face often bellies its mass merchant status. Now, further distinguishing it from its superstore brethren, Target consistently delivers an exceptional retail experience, from store design to merchandise selection to price and customer service. Target makes a real effort to provide an enjoyable shopping experience, but you still get quality merchandise at a good price. As part of their brand persona, they make an effort to be warm and human, and it resonates with people and drives them to embrace it. Thanks to the easy maneuver layouts and consistent design, Target's retail outlets are easy and intuitive places to shop. That gives customers confidence that they'll be able to find whatever they want, even on its vast selling floor. It's not only more pleasant than its competitors, but people actually enjoy being there. So Target customers also appreciate the brand's ability to design attractive yet affordable merchandise, most notably the ever-changing array of trendy clothing and home accessories. Target says it's going to give you a decent alternative that can hold up against the most expensive fashion brands. Customer service is friendly and consistent, and cashiers look for people they can direct to less crowded lines. And this helps people feel like, hey, I'm getting some service. I don't have to wait here as long. Customers are considered guests. Now, businesses should recognize that providing a warm, human experience will foster the kind of trust that lets them command higher margins, drive traffic, and enjoy better brand perception than their competitors. No matter what you sell, if you don't give people a reason to go, they're not going to figure it out by themselves, and price alone just doesn't do it. Consistency. That's the Ford story. Once you develop a unique and compelling value proposition for your brand, repeat it over and over again. In an era when the only thing that seems certain is change, Ford's consistent branding has established the company as a beacon of reliability. From its simple one-syllable name to its iconic logo, the emphasis on founding father Henry Ford and the company's brand identity, it stood the test of time. Everyone knows and admires the Ford story. Of the three Detroit automakers, Ford has the most consistent brand, product strategy, and execution. Ford also listens to and acts on customers' needs, interacting with customers on social media. And these attributes forge a strong connection. The brand ranks high for stability and dependability, and they get great ratings for concern, specifically for behaving responsibly and caring about the well-being of employees and customers. People also love the fact that Ford's refusal to take government bailout money is evidence of company's integrity. Now, consistency needs to reach all corners of any business, and changing the logo, tagline, and messaging on a frequent basis is going to ensure that nothing about your brand sticks with your intended customers. Once you've developed a unique and compelling value proposition for your brand, use it over and over again. Next is Nike, the company with the can-do attitude. On its website, Nike declares its mission to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, adding, "If you have a body, you're an athlete." It's that inspirational message and mainstream appeal that connects the athletic apparel company to consumers worldwide. Nike's always been extremely customer-focused with broad access to the point that makes the brand relevant to elite athletes as well as to everyday people. It's all about self-empowerment and being able to do your best, and the brand really does invite everyone to just do it. Now, Nike's constant product development, including introducing technologies such as Nike Air cushioning and dry fit fabrics, it's one of its biggest strengths. And as customers tend to equate innovation with expertise. When you're innovative, customers are more trusting because they think you really know what you're doing. And Nike's first product was just the first step on this journey that's allowed them to completely transcend their roots as quality running shoe, everything athletic all over the world in all kinds of sports. And Nike also gains trust points because celebrated co-founder Phil Knight is still involved in the operations. And that makes clients confident that the company is going to behave responsibly. When the founder's still there, people respect the brand in a way that doesn't happen when the reins have been handed down over and over again. Hearing his voice and persona still associated with the company, keeping closely connected to the customer. Next, Starbucks. After suffering a bit of a slump a few years back, the world's leading specialty coffee retailer has perked up its business and its brand by getting back to the original promise of bringing people together. Starbucks has gotten much more in touch with the reason that they're here, and that's to help create connections. From the free Wi-Fi to in-store music to large tables for groups and meetings, the company stores are designed with the company customers to interact. You go into any Starbucks, there's business happening and people are sharing. The company understands that. Everything there is about connection, discovery, inspiration, and creation. Startups would do well to note the company's innovative approach, which has enabled it to set the agenda in a category that's been around for centuries. They carved out this dynamic niche with their brand that's become very successful, and there's still nobody else like them. The key is to thoroughly understand the category norms and competitor strategies and determine how to direct those to your advantage. If you're an entrepreneur entering a category, maybe you can still set the agenda, but if you can redirect that agenda, that's how you win. If you're going to enter a category and be a me too, don't even bother. Okay, next let's look at Southwest Airlines. Now, although their operations and corporate culture are a bit idiosyncratic, those differences actually help support who they are and their brand image. Southwest is the quirky low-cost carrier that's consistently set its own route in the airline industry, creating a distinct personality through everything from open passenger seating to flight attendants who sing and safety demonstrations. Southwest has always been a very independent brand that's quick to break the norms in the airline industry, from the seating assignments to the fact that it doesn't list on any of the big online reservation systems. It's always prided itself on being very different. Now, much of Southwest brand success comes from the fact that although its operations and corporate culture are definitely idiosyncratic, those differences support the company's central function. Southwest has a fun, energetic corporate culture that's unique in the airline industry, but at the core, they're a very proficient operation that gets travelers from point to point in an efficient, affordable manner. Now, while the airline received low ratings for not sharing information on decision making, those protective measures may be among the reasons it continues to thrive. Several of the big carriers have tried to follow Southwest's model with low cost, but none have been able to maintain them. You can see what Southwest does. They fly one kind of airplane, they don't charge for baggage, they have friendly employees. I mean, you would think that other airlines could replicate that, but they can't. The magic of Southwest is that even though the brand has many unique elements, all the pieces work together to serve its customers in a unique way. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about is Nordstrom. Well, mythic stories circulate about the company's awesome customer service. When that happens, you know you're doing something right. The hallmark of this upscale department store, which is rumored to have once graciously accepted the return of a set of tires, even though the store never sold tires. Nordstrom's all about the power of delivering exceptional customer service. You've heard Ritz-Carlton used like that too. They go above and beyond your typical service experience. Nordstrom, they show concern for their customer as well as the quality of the products in its over 230 stores. Attentive service includes a liberal return policy, emailing digital photos of new items to regular customers, and sending thank you notes after purchases. It frees the Seattle-based retailer from having to focus on competitive pricing, and that helps keep margins higher. They don't pretend to have the lowest prices, and they don't have to. When people go there, you know you're going to pay a little more, but the service is good that it makes it worthwhile. Anyway, let's question for you. Do you know how Nordstrom got started? I'll tell you at the end. We're almost over. Anyway, bottom line is there are 5 values that influence trust in a brand. Its ability, company performance; concern, care for consumers, employers and community; connection, which is sharing consumers' values; consistency, which is dependability of products and services; and sincerity, which is openness and honesty. Anyway, that's it for our section here. Hopefully you now have a better idea how to build or grow your audience. Obviously, branding is important. It's very important having a clear message. Very important understanding your persona and understanding what builds trust for clients. So anyway, for Nordstrom, he was actually a gold prospector. And he's one of the few people who made money prospecting gold. And when he started, he was just a shoe store. So it shows you can grow into anything. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to email me, joe@platinummethodcoaching.com. Hope you're enjoying this and able to integrate this, and I hope you find this useful. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Until then, make it a great day.